Online Marketing, Chapter 14 from our Digital Marketing Strategy textbook. Chapter 14 is about content strategy. So, how do we develop content strategy? How do we create engaging content for our customers? So, measurement, distribute it, using different kinds, and how we look at content in international business. It's important that content marketing is authentic, shareable, timely, relevant, interesting, credible, and useful. And we'll talk about that, all of those more on the next slide. So, our audience needs to believe the content that we share. It should be on brand, authentic, and truthful. We should believe that your brand would be sharing this. It should be shareable, so highly engaging. How do we encourage people to want to share it? Things that are useful, fun, um, personalized, capture different emotions, tend to be shared more often, especially things that are interesting and fun. Timely, so getting it in front of them in the right place at the right time. We've talked about that multiple times, that there are different tools that we can use, and content tools and marketing tools and management tools that will release content at specific times on specific days. You can schedule all of your media releases. Some examples of strong content are live content, so Facebook Live, doing live videos on Instagram, connecting in that moment, things that allow the customer to experience something. VR is going to become a lot more popular and relevant in digital marketing in the future. Spoken words, um, tools such as a calculator or a planner, if they can download something, if they get something out of clicking through the content, and photos. Infographics are still highly popular across all different kinds of media. And written copy. Sometimes written copy is more appropriate for your website or email than it is for various social media platforms, but people still enjoy reading written things from time to time. Our content is anything that engages the end users of our product or service, and it can be consumed in any medium. So it can be on our website, it can be on a social media platform, it can be on a cell phone. How does it show up on a smartwatch? Can it be delivered on a smartwatch? Content includes anything that we post anywhere at any time about our brand. It can be a Twitter post, it can be a video, it can be a photo, it can be our email. The list is really endless. We can see the different kinds of content types and when they became available. And some of them, just because they're historic content types, doesn't mean they aren't still used. For example, television and radio are still both very popular delivery tools. We have websites, email, display ads, pay-per-click ads, social media, video tools, podcasts, blogs, and then as I said, VR is going to increase more. We're going to see more and more content available to people through VR. Actually, my daughter, when she was looking at colleges, she received a virtual reality experience in the mail from a college. They showed her how to do it on her phone and experience it. And she, scanned a QR code and she had a digital experience through virtual reality. It was actually kind of a cool tool. How do we know what content types we should use? Well, there really is no rule about that. There's nothing that says all of your content should be videos, or you should be really amazing at making infographics, or you should hire a great photographer to take pictures. What is the most important is that we really understand our target audience. We know what their buying cycle is, and we should explore different types of content. People like to engage with content in different ways, especially if we're trying to increase our search engine optimization. We want to have multiple types of content because our website and social media activity help increase our search results and our search score in Google's algorithm. Different things that we can do. So, are we just trying to reach awareness? Are we just trying to inform people that our brand exists and how we're going to do that? Are we trying to help them research our product or service? We might want to then direct them to our actual website. Are we doing peer reviews? So we can still get away with word of mouth, but we can also use review sites, Google reviews, Yelp reviews. Um, and then how do we get them to do the final decision? It's obviously something they decide on their own, and we don't always control when that happens, but we do want to be available to them when they decide to make that actual purchase. So, why content marketing? Well, two factors: consumer behavior is changing on an almost daily basis, and Google. So, how is consumer behavior changing? Well, we've talked about every generation interacts differently with the internet and social media. How we find information, how we research information, where we spend our time when we're on social media, if we're more likely to engage on a desktop computer or on a mobile phone or a tablet, and what kind of social media. So, are we more likely to be on Facebook or more likely to be on TikTok or Snapchat? Google, of course, places high scores on content factors when we are being ranked. It used to be extremely keyword heavy, and if you had all of the keywords in your paragraphs, you were going to rank very high. Now there's a high correlation between our content and our engagement across multiple channels. So it's not just about hitting the keywords, although those are still important. We also need to have people sharing our content, people engaging with our content, people coming to our website and staying for a long time and looking at things. So bounce rates are still a factor in how we rank on Google platforms. If we get a lot of pay per click, but we have an extremely high bounce rate, we're not going to have as high of a ranking in SEO as we do if people come to our website and spend a good amount of time there. This is an example of how much time is spent on a site and the score that we get on Google Analytics. So the average time spent on site, as that increases, we actually get higher scores in the ranking position. So the longer people spend on our website engaging with the content on our website, the higher our Google score. And of course, then, the higher our bounce rate, the lower our score on Google. So we don't want to have a really high bounce rate because that is going to affect our Google ranking score for search engine optimization. We can create content in multiple ways. So we can involve people in our organization. It shouldn't just be the marketing team. We should be involving people all across the organization. Do we have people who might have content ideas? We might have people that we want to share with our audience. We want to talk about people within our teams to try to be more personable about the kind of people in our teams. We can use public relations to try to find media opportunities. We want to talk to IT, have copywriters. Sometimes marketing teams are very small and one person does all of this stuff. And sometimes marketing teams are very large and we have 10 to 15 to 20 people available to work on this stuff. Then the process. Okay, what is our strategy for creating content? What are our objectives? What are we hoping to get from this content? What are we going to use to measure whether we did get that out of the content or not? So, what are those metrics that we're going to choose? Who's our target audience for the content? That's a huge thing when we have to think about what kind of content we're creating and why. What is our idea? What message are we trying to get across? And then the creation and planning of that content. So first, objectives and strategies. What do we want to achieve as a business? So it shouldn't necessarily just be what do we want to achieve with that individual content, but what do we hope customers do anyway? Are we trying to create awareness about our brand? Are we trying to change a negative perception? Are we trying to increase engagement? Are we trying to actually get them to buy something? Okay. So brand engagement, everything that we do should always be on brand. We also can do demand generation, increase traffic, generate leads, nurture leads. Okay. Is our content functional, engaging, or both? Functional content should sell our products. Engaging content is trying to get our target audience to engage, to share the content, to link to it, to tell their friends and family about it. What kind of data analysts are we going to use? We need to, one, know who our target audience is and look at our brand and competitor analysis. We might want to do an audit of our competitors and ourselves. What kind of content has been the most engaging in the past, which can inform what kind of content we make in the future. Who's our target group? Who is our audience? What is their problem? Why are they coming to us? Is their problem that they need one of our products? Is their problem that they need or want our service? How do we convince them that we're the solution to what they're looking for? Where are they digitally active? Are they digitally active on social media? Do they go to websites? Which social media are they digitally active on? And how do they prefer to be communicated to? Do they prefer to just watch videos in a news feed? Do they like emails? Do they want text messages? How do they want to engage with you and your brand? And then how we pull it all together. This brainwriting idea comes out of the textbook. So, brainwriting is an alternative to brainstorming, where we generate ideas in 30 minutes. So, we talk about what our problem statement is, and then people are given 5 minutes to jot down as many ideas as they can on how to solve the problem. Those processes are then shared with each other, and eventually you have a whole bunch of ideas. What are content opportunities? So, one model for content planning is the content bubble, which we see here. So, we have our company, industry, and the world. What are content opportunities for our company, our brands, our products? What about just in our industry? Is there something going on in our industry right now that we can tap on? Or is there something happening in the world right now that we can tap into for content ideas and content opportunities? Once we've decided what the broad content theme is, then we can plan out the creation. We should have a process for reactive content and proactive content. So proactive content is our brand content. The stuff that we just plan, the stuff that when we're planning advertisements, when we're planning sales, when we're looking for ways to engage with our customers. Reactive content is content that is needed to react to a situation, to react to something negative or positive in our own company, in the world, a new product, anything like that. So we should be prepared for reactive content at any time to take advantage of various things that happen in the world, but then we should also have our regular proactive schedule created. Our content calendar. So when we create a content calendar, we need to know what's the publish date, where are we putting it, what's the media or the channel, who's our target audience for that media. Do we need to create ads? Is it just going to be published at a certain date and time? When is this going to happen? And then we need to think about our distribution. So we go back again to these three channel types that we've talked about in multiple chapters: owned, earned, and paid. So how do we distribute across those three channels? Well, our owned and paid media, that's easy. Our own media, we put it on our website, we put it on our social media pages. Our paid content, we do display ads, we do pay-per-click ads, we create video ads before YouTube, and then our earned media, where the media is strong enough that we've convinced people to share it. So our customers want to share our content for some kind of reason. And what is the value of our content? So different ways that we can measure the value of our content are: what's our volume and reach? And of course, especially when we're doing paid content, the reach isn't necessarily as important as the engagement and consumption. It doesn't really matter if we show it to 10,000 people or 60,000 people or a million people if only 5 people are engaging with it or consuming it or watching it all the way through. Also, what is our acquisition? So how many people are actually buying something? What are those value metrics? Did it increase our brand mentions across social listening tools, for example? And what are our failure rates? It's it's still important to measure failure. It's not always failure isn't always a bad thing. Failure can be a very valuable learning experience where we take that information and move forward. And then how we need to plan for international content, how we need to change our content for international audiences. We have to think about, are the people different internationally? Is our target audience still the same? Or what are the differences? Are the platforms different? Do they have the same social media tools that are available in the United States? No, they might not have those platforms available. What are the cultural differences? What are the laws for marketing and digital marketing in their country? Are there privacy laws? Are there email laws that are different than the laws within the US, such as like GDPR, which is the European privacy law? Are there different seasonal events or holidays that, not everywhere in the world celebrates Thanksgiving on a Thursday in November? For example, in Canada, Thanksgiving is in October. So, what are those seasonal events and how do we pay attention to what's going on around the world? And then, what are the different electronic systems? So, being really cognizant, and we've talked about international content before and international cultural awareness and language awareness in an earlier chapter. So, thinking strongly about those things when we're creating international content. And that is chapter 14 from the Digital Marketing Strategy